Imagine coming home late at night with someone you care about. It's quiet, it's calm, and for a moment, everything feels safe. But behind that feeling of safety, hidden just a few feet away, someone has been waiting, watching, listening. A man who stepped into your home hours earlier and hid himself in a child's closet, armed, obsessed, and spiraling. On October 26, 2025, 35-year-old Noel Denzel Miller walked into what he thought was the end of a good night out. Instead, he walked into an ambush. Noel was spending the night at his girlfriend's home in Converse, Texas, unaware that her ex-boyfriend was already inside. That man was 23-year-old Shiateek De-Shean Wilson, and by the time the sun came up, Noel would be dead, and Wilson would be in handcuffs. The day had started normally. Wilson's ex-girlfriend dropped him at a McDonald's where he met his mother. He spent the day with family, texting his ex throughout. He told her he'd be staying at his mother's house that night, but that wasn't his plan, not even close. Around 1 a.m., Wilson asked his uncle for a ride, not to his mother's home, but to his ex's. When he got there, the house was empty. Instead of leaving, he forced his way inside. He walked upstairs, entered the daughter's room, and crawled into the closet to wait. He would later claim he wanted to surprise his ex with gifts, flowers, money, cocaine, but police never found any of those items. What they did find was a gun. Sitting in that dark closet for hours, Wilson drank, watched videos, and eventually fell asleep. And then, sometime before dawn, he woke to the sound of the front door opening. He heard her voice, but he heard another voice too, a man's voice, Noel's. The couple moved upstairs, she stepped into the shower, Noel went to grab some laundry, and that's when Wilson opened the closet door. Wilson would later say he was only trying to slip out unnoticed, but the moment Noel saw him, everything turned violent. Wilson claimed Noel pulled a gun first, but what we know is this. Gunshots erupted, multiple shots. In the bathroom, the woman heard the explosions and ran out. She found Noel on the floor, bleeding from several wounds. Standing in the doorway was Wilson, holding the gun. In the chaos, she tried to call 911, but Wilson grabbed her phone and ran. She begged him to give it back. He finally tossed it upstairs, warning her not to tell on him. Then he fled, jumping fences, shedding items, trying to escape what he'd done. Emergency responders arrived quickly. They found Noel critically wounded. He was rushed to the hospital, but the injuries were too severe. He didn't survive. Sheriff's deputies examined the scene. Bullet casings, damage from the gunfire, blood, and the unmistakable signs that someone had been hiding. Meanwhile, officers tracked Wilson down less than a mile away at a friend's home. He was arrested that same day and charged with murder. During interrogation, Wilson admitted he shot Noel, but insisted it was self-defense. He tried to paint the scene as a misunderstanding, but his actions told a different story. The break-in, the hours of hiding, the lies about where he'd be that night, the armed confrontation, stopping her from calling 911, and the attempt to escape. None of it matched a man defending himself. It matched a man trying to control someone who no longer wanted him. This case showed classic signs of obsessive and controlling behavior, patterns often seen in domestic violence. Showing up uninvited, refusing to accept boundaries, believing he had a right to be in her home. And when she moved on, he saw it as betrayal, not independence. Experts warn that leaving a relationship is one of the most dangerous times for victims of domestic violence. For Noel, being with someone whose past partner refused to let go cost him his life. In the days after his death, Noel's community mourned him deeply. Loved ones shared tributes about his kindness, his warmth, and the joy he brought to others. His life touched many people, and his loss was felt like a shockwave. Wilson now sits in jail awaiting trial. If convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison, but no sentence can undo the trauma left behind. His ex-girlfriend will forever carry the memory of opening that door and seeing Noel on the floor. She will forever remember that someone she once trusted was capable of such violence. And even if Wilson truly believed he was acting in the heat of the moment, the reality remains. He was an intruder. He created the threat. Texas law protects homeowners, not the person hiding in their closet. This case showed classic signs of obsessive and controlling behavior. This case is a reminder that obsession isn't romance. Persistence isn't love. When someone refuses to respect your boundaries, when they show up uninvited, when they try to control your life or your relationships, that behavior is dangerous. It can escalate, and sometimes it kills. Rest in peace, Noel Denzel Miller. Your story matters. What do you believe happened in that hallway? Self-defense or execution? Drop your thoughts below, subscribe if this one hit you hard, and stay close. The second this case goes to trial, we'll be here with every shocking detail. Stay safe out there, fam. Obsession kills.